Hello everyone. Today we will see about the Excel formulas. When we say formula, there will be some keywords which we are using to perform certain operations. So in MS Excel, we are having lot of formulas to perform different operations. So let us start this session with the formula for text. So let us start with the formulas in MS Excel. I'll start with the first one, that is formula for the text. Here I have highlighted. I'll show you how to utilize formula for the text in MS Excel. Whenever we are linking two text values together within the formula, we call it as concatenation. And in MS Excel, we are using ampersand to connect the text in one cell with the text in other cell. Okay, so now let us see that one. So what I'll do is I'll just take one cell. Here I'm going to write some text, or like I'll write mark sheet, and in another cell I'm going to write the formula now. Here I'm going to write the formula for the text, concatenation of the text, which is present in two different cells. So remember one thing over here, whenever you are using Excel and using the formulas, it will start with equal to symbol. Remember, whenever you are writing the formulas in Excel, it should start with equal to symbol. So I have written equal to over here, you can see, and then I will write the content something like students. Okay, the student should be written in the double quotation. So I'll write it once again, double quotation, student, close the quotation, and use ampersand symbol. Okay, and after writing ampersand, you have to write the text which you want to concatenate or combine with the student. So I want to combine this particular cell, so I'll click on the cell. Automatically here you can see that the cell number has been appearing. So once you get that one, that means it is in the I column and 6th row. Once you are getting that, you just press the enter key and you can find that the data has been concatenated in the form of student mark sheet. Okay, this is about using the formula for the text. Now let us move on to Excel formula basic. So whenever we are thinking about the basic formulas used in MS Excel, the first thing what will come to our mind is to find the sum and average. Okay, so I have taken some data over here. Before explaining this, let me delete this content which might distract us. Okay, so here I'll write the total, and the next what I'm going to find is average. Okay, so in this cell I wanted to find the total of all the three subject data what already I have typed and kept it. Okay, so here as I've told you, whenever you are writing the formula, do remember to use equal to symbol. I'll write equal to, then I'll write sum. Okay, after doing this, you just give the bracket, left bracket, and here you are going to give the range. Like individually you can select the cells, select the cell, put the plus symbol and do it, or else what you have to do is you just select the range. Now see here, I'm sorry, what I'll do is once again I'll write sum in the bracket. Now I'm going to select the range. Once it is done, I'm going to close the bracket. Okay, and then fine, let me change it, there is some problem. You can see equal to symbol, then write sum in the bracket, select the range. Okay, once the range has been selected, you can see that we have selected the range, that is column number, C column row number 5 till E column row number 5. Okay, so once it is done, you just press the enter key. You will find the sum of subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3 of the first student. Okay, this is the total marks of the first student called Ashok. Okay, the same thing, the same formula you can apply for the other students also to find their total scores. Okay, so instead of typing the formula once again here, what you can do is you just click on the previous total or the sum what we have found. Take your mouse pointer over that cell. Once the pointer is turning into the plus symbol, you just drag it. Okay, as you drag, you can see that automatically the formula has been copied to the other cell also, and you are able to see the total of all the different students subject marks whatever they have scored. Like this we can utilize the sum formula. Now let us move on to the average formula. Okay, so here also when we are going to write the average formula, you have to just type equal to symbol followed by average and then give the bracket and select the range for which you want to find the average. So I want to find the average of all the 3 subjects. So I have selected the subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3 marks and then give the closing bracket. Remember here the colon symbol indicates it is from this cell to this cell. Okay, and then press the enter key. So here you can find that the average of subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3 is 56 for the first student. And as I have told you already, for the total, you just take your mouse pointer over the cell where you have found the average, where you have written the formula, and just drag it for the other values also. This will save your time, as well as it is just copying the formula for the other cells also, so that you can find the average very easily and very fast. Okay, this is about the basic formula what we are going to use with Excel. Okay, now let us talk about the logical formulas used with Excel. If we talk about the logical formulas, these formulas are going to give you the output in the form of either true or false. And here I am going to explain you about some logical formulas like and, or, and if. Okay. These are the 3 logical formulas what I am going to explain you individually. If I am adding, because we cannot use and or individually or separately. We have to use along with the if formula only. Okay, so let me explain and formula first, then we'll go for if also. And I'm going to implement the formula over here. So I'm highlighting this cell. I'll put equal to symbol followed by and. In the bracket here you are going to give the logical conditions. Okay, so here I'll take the subject 1 marks. Here I am giving the condition as if the subject 1 marks is greater than equals to 35, comma, subject 2 marks if it is greater than equals to 35, comma, subject 3 marks if it is greater than equals to 35. Then if the values are greater than 35, all the 3 subject values, then it is going to return true, else it will give you false. Now here you can see that it is giving the true value. Okay, like this you can go for or formula also. So I'll write here equal to or, in the bracket the same thing. I'm going to take the logic. If it is less than equals to 35, comma, less than equals to 35, comma, less than equals to 35. If any value is less than 35, then it is going to give you true, otherwise false. So now here you can see that it is giving true because the subject 1 marks is less than 35. Because we are giving OR, it is going to select any one value from all the 3 subjects. If any value is less than 35, then it is going to give you true, otherwise false. Okay, as I have told you, we cannot use this and or individually. We have to use it along with if. So let me show you. I am going to implement and or with the combination of if formula. So I am going to write over here. This I am going to, okay, let it be. I am going to write here equal to if, okay, in the bracket. Now here I have to give the logical test. Okay, so here what I'll do is I'm going to take the AND formula here. Okay, and because I have to check all the 3 subject marks. Okay, and in the bracket I'll write 60 if subject 1 marks is greater than equals to 35, comma, subject 2 marks is greater than equals to 35, comma, subject 3 marks is greater than equals to 35. Okay, if this is the condition, then I have to write comma, pass, quotation, comma, fail. Okay, so what I am doing is if any of the subject value is not less than 35, then it will display pass. If any value is less than 35, then it is going to display fail. I have written the formula, you just press the enter key, you will find pass. Okay, now to copy the same formula for other values also, you just take your mouse pointer on the previous cell. Once it is converting into the plus symbol, you just drag it down. Okay, so now here you can find 2 fails. Okay, I hope you have understand, but then also to clarify your doubt here separately, I'll show you how I am going to use if equal to if. Separately I am going to give you here logical test. I'll write if okay, this value is greater than equals to 35, only one value I am taking here, then I'll say pass. If the condition is not true, it is going to display fail. Okay, see, like this. Okay, the same thing I have implemented here, but in concatenation with if formula with combination of and if formula with combination of or. If you want to implement or, you just write down here or. Okay, you can do that. And this is about the using of logical functions and or and if. Okay, now we will see about the arithmetic functions used with Excel. So here I have written certain arithmetic functions what we are going to see today. Okay, so this is for our convenience so that we are not missing out any of the function. And I'm going to implement these functions in this result column. Okay, so here I'm going to show you the ABS function. This ABS function, it is returning the absolute value of a number. The absolute value of a number is a number without its sign. Okay, so here I'll show you. I'll write ABS of -2. Okay, as I have told you, we have to give the equal to symbol, so I'm writing it here. Once you are giving ABS, you just enter. You can see the minus sign has been removed and you are getting the absolute value. Okay, next comes the ceiling function. Ceiling function, it is rounding a number to the nearest integer or to the nearest multiple of the significance. Okay, so now let me show you. Ceiling, okay, equal to ceiling, in the bracket, number I am giving 32.7 and the significance is 1. Okay, and give the enter. You can see that it is going to the nearest multiple of the significance. Okay, then comes the fact. Fact is nothing but the factorial. This function is going to find the factorial of a number. So let me show you. Equal to fact, I'll take factorial of 4. That means it will be performing 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That is 4 3s are 12, 12 2s are 24. So the answer will be 24 over here, as you can see. Next comes the floor function. Floor function is going to round a number down towards the 0. That means to the nearest multiple of the significance. Okay, so I'll write equal to, sorry, already it's given, floor. I'll give the value 23.32. I'll give comma. The significance is 1. Once when you give enter, it is showing you the nearest multiple significance, that is 23. Next comes the int function. It is rounding a number down to the nearest integer. Like I'll write here equals to integer 8.6. So it is going to the nearest integer, that means it is going to 8. Okay, then comes log. Log, as we know, it is a logarithmic function which is returning to the base value. So I'm going to use it here, base value as 10. You can use any other base value also, like log 5 or sorry, the base value 5 or something like that. So I'm using log 10 over here. Okay, and I want the logarithmic value of 20 to the base 10. So you can find the logarithmic value of 20 to the base 10 is 1.30103. Then comes mod function. This mod function is going to return the remainder after the number is divided by the divisor. That means overall it is going to show you what is the remainder once we are dividing a number with a particular divisor. Okay, so I'll write mod. I'm going to divide 3 by the value 2. Okay, so let me give the equal to symbol. So you just press enter. You can see 1 because once when we are dividing 3 by 2, so 2 ones are 2, so the remainder is 1. So it is giving you the remainder as 1. Next comes the round function. This round function is going to round a number to a specific number of digits. Okay, so let me show you. I'll take equals to round. I'm going to round some number. Like I'll take the number 1.456 and I'm going to round it up to 2 digits after the decimal point. So you can see it is giving 1.4 as the output. Next comes sqrt function. It is going to return a positive square root. Okay, so I'll write equal to sqrt. I want square root of 16, for example. Is going to give you 4. Finally comes the sum. It is going to add the arguments. Whatever argument you are going to add, you can give it. So I'm showing you sum. Already I have given the other way to add the values also. Here I am giving 2, 3. So it is going to add 2 and 3 and it is going to give the output as 5. So these are the few arithmetic functions used with MS Excel. Now let us start seeing the lookup formulas in Excel. This lookup formula in Excel is very important and very useful whenever a person wanted to search for certain set of data in the Excel sheet. Okay, like for example, if I wanted to know the marks scored by a particular student in a particular subject, I can do it by using this lookup formula instead of scrolling the entire sheet. Okay, and this task will become really very difficult when we are having lot of rows. Like for example, I just wanted to search it in the set of 100 students. It will be really very difficult and it will be time consuming. So to reduce the time consumed, I'm going to use the lookup formulas here. So here, for better understanding, what I have done is I have taken roll number as 5, which I'm going to search, and I just wanted to know the marks scored by roll number 5 in subject 1. So I have written here subject 1. Okay, and the different type of lookup formulas available also I have written here, like VLOOKUP, lookup, HLOOKUP, and followed by match. Okay, I'm going to show you how exactly we can use this different type of lookup formulas to find the marks scored by roll number 5 in subject 1. So let us start. I'll start with VLOOKUP now. So here I'm going to display the VLOOKUP marks over here, the marks scored by roll number 5 in subject 1. So I'll write equal to symbol. I'll write VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is vertical lookup, and put the bracket. Now here the lookup value is nothing but the student for which you want to search for the data. Okay, I want the roll number 5 data, so I'll click on 5. Okay, followed by the table array is nothing but the entire table including the title of the table, so select the entire table. Okay, then comma the column index number. Column index number means the column which you want to search for. I want to search for subject 1 column, which is the third column in our data. So I'll write over here 3. Okay, followed by, now here you should write whether you want the approximate match or exact match. As we want the exact match, either you can type as false or just give the value 0. Okay, after giving value 0 and close the bracket, you just press the enter key. Here you can see that the mark scored by roll number 5 in subject 1 is 46. You can cross check over here. Roll number 5 mark scored is 46. That means our VLOOK formula is working. Okay, now let me show you how to use lookup formula to search for the same data. Okay, so here I'll write equal to lookup. Okay, in the bracket here you should write the lookup value. Okay, so when we are saying lookup value, that means we are going for searching the roll number column. Okay, so I'll take this roll number, comma, the lookup vector. Lookup vector is nothing but where we can find the value which we want to search. Okay, as we are searching for the roll number which can be found in the first column, so I'm going to select the entire column, that is roll number column. Okay, followed by comma, then comes the result vector. Okay, result vector means the subject column whose marks we are going to search. As we are searching for subject 1 marks, so I'm selecting the entire subject 1 column. Okay, once it is done, you just close the bracket and press the enter key. Now here you can see that lookup is also giving the same value. Okay, then comes the HLOOKUP. Okay, after this HLOOKUP, I'll tell you whether we have to use lookup or VLOOKUP, which one is better. Okay, so here in HLOOKUP we are searching for the same data, but we are using horizontal way. Okay, so here I'll write equal to HLOOKUP. Okay, in the bracket. Now the lookup value, that means the column which we are searching for. Now I am searching for subject 1 column, so I'll write subject 1, comma, the table array. Table array is nothing but the entire table along with the headings. Okay, then comes, because we are searching here horizontally, so we need to give the row index number, whereas in VLOOKUP it was column index number. Row index number means the row where roll number 5 is available, so we have to count it along with the headings. So heading will be row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6. So roll number 5 is coming in row number 6, so I'll write 6 over there. And then followed by whether you want the approximate match or exact match. Obviously we want exact match, so I'm writing 0. Okay, and then press the enter key. Now here you can find 46 again. Okay, so now what exactly is the difference between lookup and VLOOKUP? Okay, if we want to search, go to VLOOKUP. Here you can check if I wanted to search some other value. If I wanted to search for subject, for example subject 2 value. So here instead of writing column number 3, I have to just write the other column. So if I wanted subject number 2 value, so it will be column 4. I'll just write column number 4, and here it is 66. Okay, so as you can see, roll number 5 has scored 66 marks in subject 2. That means it is correct. But if you want to search the same thing by using lookup, here you have to select the entire range. Like we have selected subject 1 entire range over here. Here you have to change the result vector entirely. That means I have to select the entire row. Okay, then only you can see the value can be searched easily. Okay, done. So that's why we say VLOOKUP is much better than lookup, because VLOOKUP will take less time and it is easy to search for the other columns or other values as compared to lookup. Now let us move on to match. This match function is helping to use the lookup in very efficient way. I'll show you how exactly it is. I'm taking again VLOOKUP only. So here, because I am going to search for a particular column, so instead of 4, I'll write over here, delete 4 and write match in the bracket. When I am saying match, it is asking for lookup value. Which value you want to look for? I can look for subject 1, subject 2, subject 3. It can be anything. So I'll select the entire headings. Okay, once you are selecting the entire heading over here, then the next one is lookup array. Okay, so the lookup array can be the entire table. Select the lookup array. Okay, and I want the exact match, so 0 again. Enter. Okay, there's something missing over here. Let me check. Okay, so match, as I have told you, it is going to search for the lookup value. Lookup value wherein the column what we are going to search for. Okay, it will be the cell number. Okay, I'll take this one, subject 1. Okay, comma, the lookup array. Lookup array is the entire title again, comma, I want the exact match. So here you can see is giving 46 again because it is subject 1. Okay, now what if I wanted to know subject 2? Because here we have used match. If I am changing the subject over here, what I have taken here, K9. Okay, K9. Here instead of subject 1, if I am writing subject 2, immediately you can see this marks will change. Okay, that means it is going to give you 66. See here, it is giving 66. Okay, so this is the advantage of using match formula along with VLOOKUP. So it will be very helpful if you are using VLOOKUP instead of lookup. Let us move on to the date and time function now. The date function, here I have mentioned all the date functions available with Excel and the formula. Okay, so let me show you the different date functions and how to use it. Imagine you want to insert today's date, that is current date and time, in your Excel sheet. So instead of typing it, you just write the formula, that is the name of the function is now. Okay, you can use this function to insert the current date and time in your Excel sheet. Let us see how we are going to implement it. You just click on the cell wherein you want to display the current date and time, put a equal to symbol and just write now followed by the opening and closing bracket. Okay, once you press enter key, you can see that the today's date and time has been displayed. This date and time is your system date and time, and whenever you are going to refresh your page or open it tomorrow, the date and time will be automatically updated. Okay, so next comes today. This today function is going to display or return the today's date. Okay, so whatever the MS Excel date is there, it is going to display it in a particular format of the MS Excel. So let me show you here. Click on the cell where you want to see the today's date. You just write equal to today and just give the brackets. Now here you can see the today's date, that means your system date is displayed over here, and it is in the format of date, month and year. Okay, imagine here I'll give some date. I'll write the same date, that is today's date, so that it will be easy for you to understand. 2020. Okay, so now here I want, in this particular date, I wanted to know what is the date. I don't know what is the format in which the date function is being displayed. I wanted to know the date, particularly when your date and month is same. For example, here I'll write 08/08/2020. Okay, here I don't know which is the month and which is the day. So what I'll do is I'll use the day function by just writing equal to day, and in the bracket you just write down the date from which you want to find the current day. Okay, I am taking the cell number and just press the enter. So it will show you the day is 8. Okay, similarly you can find the month in the given date just by typing equal to month, and in the bracket you just select the cell, you select the date from which you just wanted to find the month. Okay, I've given I6 and just press the enter. As we know, the date is 8 and the month is 8, it is giving 8 and 8. Similarly, you can find the year also just by typing equals to year, and in the bracket you just select the date from which you wanted to find the year. Okay, just press enter key and you can see that the year has been displayed, which is nothing but 2020. Okay, now imagine if I wanted to combine the different date, month and year together. Okay, it can be done by using the date function. So what I'll do is here I'll write equal to date, and I wanted to combine. Now see here, it is asking for 3 parameters. It is asking for year, it is asking for month, and it is asking for day. So here I will take from the previous result, comma, month also from the previous result, comma, the date from the previous result. So when I am clicking enter, you can see that it is giving you the current date. Okay, along with the time, because I have not specified any time, it is giving 0, 0. Okay, so this is about the date function. Now let us move on to the time function. Okay, so whenever you wanted to find the time, that is in the form of hours, minutes and second, you can use this kind of function. Okay, so here I have specified, I have taken some time format. I will give 19 hours 59 minutes and 20 seconds for example, and in this I just wanted to find the hours. Okay, so for this already I have given, I'll just remove this one. I'll write here equals to hour, and here you have to give the serial number, from the time from which you just wanted to find the hour. Now the hours can be from 1 to 24, so I am giving this particular value, and when you press enter it will say hour is 19 hours. Okay, similarly you can find the minutes just by typing equal to minute in the bracket, the time from which you wanted to find the minutes. You just click on this particular cell and press the enter key, and you can see it is 59 minutes. Similarly, you can find the seconds just by typing equal to second and in the bracket the time from which you wanted to identify the number of seconds. You just click enter. You can see that it is 20 seconds. So these are the few date and time functions which will make your work easy with the Excel sheet.